Hello and welcome. I'm Bill Wake. We're here working on a program to assess the similarity of tunes, and we're trying to build it into a pipeline of stages like input the file and transform it and then print a report. We have something on that order, but I don't think we're working quite the way we're intended to with the views. So we're going to work on changing what's currently a state, at state, to an observable object. At state is Swift's thing that can work with structs, and observable object works with classes. So, structs and simple data, I guess. Observable object works with classes. Okay, so we have text input view. I guess we got source too. Okay, source is probably the one we want. The way we're doing it now, we have this class that owns the transformation. So a text input has an input string that it wants displayed on the string as an entry box, and then to transform it, it basically just passes the it parses that input, and then that finds some tunes and finds some errors, and it puts those in the packet that gets sent through the pipeline. I'm open to a better name than packet for sure, but that's what I got. All right, the funny part here is this is sort of a domain. Well, I wouldn't call it music domain, but it's kind of the domain of pipelines and transformations. And we're using Swift UI with it. So we're making this a binding, and, we're creating the object somewhere else and passing it in and then using it back up in the view. Let's get to that text input view. Okay. Text input view binds to that same input string, but really I want the text input source to own it. I'm struggling my way through, so I don't have any well-grounded opinions. Got theories, and my theory is that each sort of transform is going to have some of its own inputs. It's going to need its own controls. Our quantizer lets you set rhythms like 1/4 or 1/32 or whatever. We can imagine one that changes keys, or removes sharps and flats, or makes a major a minor, or whatever we can come up with. All those, they have their own idea of what kind of input, or what input they need to control them, and they're going to take this packet that's the sort of tunes and output and other stuff, errors, and kind of amend that with the result. Now, so what I think we want to do is, we're running, make sure tests are running now. I'm not sure everything is completely kosher on the pipeline from the UI part, because we're not really testing the UI. But let's dive in and see what happens. Okay, so combine is a library that basically lets objects create. It's kind of like React, I guess. It's letting objects create ways. They'll notify before they change, and you can set up two-way bindings and things like that. Okay, so to do this, you mark this as implementing observable object. Okay, and then on any field you want to manage, you say published. I think it's lowercase. Is it uppercase? Okay, let's type this. Okay, add published. Okay, and then we don't want the binding. I think we want to say we initialize it, and then we don't want the binding at all. People come to us for the binding. Okay, I'm going to keep the empty constructor for a moment. Okay, if all goes well, we'll get rid of it. Well, maybe I should just get rid of it. I feel like my keyboard's not quite waking up. I hope it's that and not me. All right, so I've changed this to observable object, taken away the constructor, initialized it here, and marked it published. Now the content view, see these purple marks, they're about thread violations and stuff like that. And there's, in this case, that's worrisome to me. It says we're not using it the way it's intended. But what we're going to do is text input. Okay, where is that initialized? Text input equals text input source. Well, I don't need to defer that. Well, we'll let it be for now. Okay, now the problem is, okay, that's more or less okay. I think we can get rid of this bang, but we'll deal with that later. All right, now where's input? Who's using that? Because that, I think, should go away. That's now owned by our source, our pipeline aspect, and it's being used in the view. There's text input, but there's a text input view. Here it is. He takes the source and he takes input. Okay, so let's take input out of the equation. And let's go here. And he takes source, so he doesn't need input since source owns it. Okay, and this becomes observed object. So observables become observed object instead of bindings. Okay. Well, that goes in our source actually. And this goes away. Any transform cannot conform. Okay, yeah, this has to be a specific one. It's got to be our text input source, who is a transform, so that's more or less okay. All right, so our source is going to be text input source. We save it. Now we got to reference it. Text is not $input, it's source.input. Set. Okay, what else we got? Okay, text input source $input. That goes away. And that goes away. Okay, the only hard problem is this one. Okay, well, maybe I should find an example. Text editor. Yeah, let's try that. Okay, observable published a field. ObservableObject uses it, and then in the field, user, oh, it is still bound. Okay. I guess it's eligible for that. We don't have to bind these with a $sign because they're constant, but this does need to vary, so we're saying tie in that way. Okay, so, well, let's see if we'll pass tests. I'm not quite sure how that'll go. Build failed. Okay, I still got holes. All right. Cannot find $input. Okay. Let's leave it around, but we kind of don't care. If this works, we'll get the other ones in line. All right. Run tests. clean build. Run tests. Arguments passed to a call that takes no argument. Oh, this is interesting. Okay. That's our end point of our pipeline that sort of assumes it can just grab this stuff, and we know it can't. But this should work. Okay. Now, running will probably not work. I think we'll have to... hit a breakpoint and make sure we're seeing what we think. We can stop here. This is the do it on the last view. Maybe this should be passed in here just to try and make it work. Text output view. I kind of don't think this is the right one to do it, is the problem. Okay, let's go to content view. Okay, we create text input, quantizer in a pipeline, quantizer setting view, then text input view. He gets input. Well, let's make this text. How about $textInput.input? Okay, text input is a text input source. Apparently it's not happy with that. Apparently it doesn't know whether to be happy or not. Let's see, cannot find text input in source. Really? Oh, text input source. No, text input. That's all init. That seems okay. Cannot convert value of string to binding type. Okay. Cannot find $textInput.in scope. Oh, this is supposed to be... Let's see. This should be marked as a state object. Okay, whoever creates this thing needs to make it a state object. Does that do it? Source. Okay, I guess I'm going to be forced to do this sooner than I wanted. Okay. Hope that cleans it up. So in the past, we had to make these things be at state, which says this is kind of simple state value type owned by this object. And then when we pass it in, it's a binding. And now state object says this is an object owned by this type, and you can bind onto its fields. Okay, those are all okay. Let's see if this works the way we want. Okay, so we got x1. Okay, and if I run this, we should hopefully see input around. Okay. Text input equals text input source. That does seem wrong. Okay. We do have self.textInput. Okay, print self.textInput.input. Maybe a horrible type. Text input. That's the local, so that's not right. Source pipeline. Where's text input? Maybe we've. Okay, let's. We already have text input. Oh, no, we don't. Okay, this is a problem. Okay, let's see. Content view owns text input. And I think I want to say it's going to have to pass it down to text output. Let's get text input. Just be text input. And we need to hold that in text output view. And this has to be a observed. Oh, so slow today. There it is. Observed object. Var text input of type text input source. And we're going to put that down here where input was and no longer take input. Okay. Now this goes away. Nobody's referencing input in here, so we should be fine. Okay, let's try again. Incorrect labels and call. Okay. Source pipeline text input. Expected source pipeline. Who's got input? Oh, preview. Okay. Text input, and we need Well, we can be the observable. No, we're a state object since we own it for the preview. Var text input of text input source. I don't think anybody should be using this. Instance member text input cannot be used on type. Oh, I gotta be static, don't I? Oh, well, yes. Okay. X1 T test key of E A B B A B B C. This quantize button is a little weird, but that's a different problem. Okay, now we should be able to see text input somewhere. No done. Oh, dot input. Should resemble our input. Yes. Okay. Okay, good. Let's just continue. Continue. All right. Yeah, there it is. Okay, so it quantized divided by 2 basically. So A, B is star up. All right. This is good. I think this is working more the way we want it to, and we should have one fewer purple warning. Okay, we no longer get a purple warning for text input source. Okay, good. We're on track, I think. Before we check in, there's some cleanup, I think, that we should probably do. Okay, so that just transformed. That is no longer initialized here, yes. That changed to the text input. That's good. Text input view, we changed it to observed object. Yeah. And we only pass in the source of type text input type. Input is gone from the text input view. That's great. Okay. Input is now source.input. Yes. And we adjusted the preview. Okay. We're in better shape than I thought. Oh, there's one. Okay. We don't need this binding. Let's just delete these breakpoints. Okay, and down here, that's totally out of there. Oh, good. When it starts clicking together like this, it just feels so nice. I'm not super expert on this observable object stuff, so I know I'm going to make mistakes with it, but at least at this level we're doing it. Where I've messed up before is like if you have objects containing objects, then and you want them observable all the way down, it's much messier, but we're not going to do that here, I don't think. All right, so this is change text input source to be observable object and use it that way in content view and its subviews. Okay. I guess that could go sometime. It's a different project. Okay, let me just get that out of there. We don't really care. All right. So we did that. This is at state goes to observable object. And this is all part of the pipeline. Okay, and then I think we just can work our way through, what do we call it, QuantizerTransform. Boy, this is kind of a technical thing. Usually I like these little sub-bullets to be meaningful to a user, but I just don't think this one is. It's really an internal structure. Okay, QuantizerTransform. So let's get it open. Let's go find its view. Okay, QuantizerTransform. All right, so we're going to import combine instead of SwiftUI. We're going to make this observable object. I don't know if it's subclassed or what. This is a published field. Okay, and then we don't need these things coming in. So we won't need a constructor. Okay, and then we want to go look at content view and make sure we got the right defaults, but I'm pretty sure true 1 1. Oh no, we got true 1 4, false 1 4. Okay, shows you what I know. Okay, those all have defaults. And we're not doing anything different. I mean, it should be a minimal change in here. We changed the way these declarations are, but everything else should just be operating. Okay. Let's see. Then the setting view. I don't know where the right place to go next. Well, he doesn't want any transform, that's for sure. He wants a QuantizerTransform. And I know I'm coupling the view type to the source or transform type. I think that's, well, it's unfortunate I have to, at least I don't see a way around it right now. But you know, the view is the thing that knows how to display the controls that this object wants. So I think that is kind of fundamental to what we're doing. So I don't think it's a bad situation in that sense. Okay, so we're going to need these. We don't need these bindings anymore. We got to pass the source in no matter what. Okay, and then in here, this should become source.quantize. And cannot find source. source.numerator, source.denominator. Okay. And this, I believe, should also be maybe I don't need a dollar there. Okay. These bindings go away. All right, now the color is only going to take a quantizer transform. Okay, so the color source is well, that's kind of a mess. Okay, he shouldn't own any of these three states. He can own output for now, but will go away eventually. The input has nothing to do with it. Okay, oops. Okay, but he does have to have a state object QuantizerTransform. Okay. And then his source should be our source. Oh, it had to be static. Okay, and then we don't need any of this stuff. Oh, getting smaller, love it. Okay, I think that one looks okay. I don't see output and errors being used anywhere, so let's get rid of them. I may be going too far somewhere, but I think we're okay. Let's see the preview. I don't know if it'll do it because we don't, quantum view is still wrong. Yeah. Cannot constructed. Quantizer view. Okay, we got to initialize quantizer. Okay, so we'll need a state object for that. Okay, no initializations. Okay. Pick a spell. State object there. Then quantizer is already defined. And quantizer setting view just needs the source. Okay. Build. Oh, we still had one. Oh, good old do it. Uh-huh. Well, we're going to do the same. Well, we're going to make a quantizer here, I guess. In the long run, this is going to change, but quantizer of QuantizerTransform. Oops. Okay. Var input source QuantizerTransform. Now, where's your initializer? That's the caller. Okay, this should go away. Somebody there. I call it quantizer up here too? Yep. Quantizer, and this is text output view, no longer takes, should quantize. Oh wait, let's go look at it. Text output view. He shouldn't need these three variables. Should quantize numerator denominator. Cannot find quantizer in scope. Does that not make him static as usual? State object. Oh, I didn't make him at all. Okay. Create a quantizer. Don't need these fields. Building. Okay, we got to do content view. Is this content view? Yes. Okay. So we need quantizer. Then we can drop these three variables. Tests. And then who are these three? Oh, good. State objects view without being installed on a view. This will create a new instance each time. Without being installed on a view. I don't know. This is, we haven't done the last couple, so I guess I'm going to wait on those. But again, we should be able to run. Okay. CCDA. All right. That seems good. All right. So this time we've make QuantizerTransform an observable object. Okay. Now we're going to do Parsons code. I don't know what we call it. Report transform. Okay, let's just close tabs. We know we're going to start with Parsons code. Let's alphabetize these again. I don't. There's no setting I can find to just do that for me, unfortunately. I thought I had one, but maybe. All right, for what it's worth. All right, we are now an observable object. We need to get that from combine. We have no state. Is that going to matter? I don't think it's going to matter too much. The thing is, we could add state, and this would be the kind of thing to do it. And I want to make the object like the others, so it's going to be observable. So I think this is okay. Let's go to the Parsons Code view. Okay, and this is observed object. Source transform, there's no data. And this is now state object. Yeah, that's okay. Any transform. His type is ParsonsCodeReport transform. Okay, and I think, wow, it doesn't sound like it's affecting content view at all. Well, he's still going to be a state object, so that's a little different. Oh, notice we didn't have to do him deferred before. Pipeline is still okay. Input. Who references this? Should be nobody. Okay. Same thing for this. Gotta take my chances. It's the same for that. Title, output errors. We still haven't dealt with that. Okay. X1, TT, key of G, FFGA. Run. Should get 4 notes. Yep. Okay. Make Parsons Code Report Transform an observable object. All right. And this one, the next one is the output object, TextOutputSink. This one was Parsons Code. Okay, and once again, I think we can keep this one and close these two. All right, so TextOutputSink. Interesting. This one has no inputs either. It only takes the packet. Okay, well, that's all right. Combine, and it is now observable object. No dynamic fields or changing fields, so nothing to publish. And then text output view. Should be prepared to deal with it. Now, I really don't like that this thing has all these. It's because it owns the button that it has to. Observed object var. Well, we really should have this up there too. Oh, that seems wrong. Oh, he should, I guess he should just be this and passed in. Okay. Reduce packet. No, this is still confused. Heterogeneous. They're all transforms, so there's no. I don't understand why they'd be heterogeneous. If I am explicit, does that help? Good. Okay, now down here, static var source. Well, I think he's got to be told his Parsons code transform because he needs that for the pipeline. Okay, he creates one of those. Quantizer, insert. Things are a little weird. Okay, we still take these bindings because these are coming from elsewhere, I guess. All right. Run tests. I think there may be a build problem here somewhere. Oh, now I have 3 purples. And I have a pipeline up here that's not being used. Passed in but ignored. Let's. I hate to take it out of here because I kind of think we need it up here. Accessing state object without being installed on view. Because I can't create a variable that holds these 3 without, I don't know. What was your missing argument for Parsons? Okay. Parsons code should be up here. Oh, report. Okay. That's almost a Swift question. Well, let's see. No, let's make sure this runs. Then we'll go look up some stuff. Okay. So, X1 T test key of B, BBCA, run. Okay. All right. So my question is there, this is a creation of this view. It's kind of a weird error to me. Accessing state objects view object without being installed on a view. Creates a new instance. I guess I want to see, well, I don't know if I need the pipeline there. Let's see who uses the pipeline. Can we get rid of it? I think we might be able to at this point. And we pass it in somewhere. All right, so text output view. Where's the pipeline? Here. See, we're creating it locally when we need it, so that it's not complaining about that access, so that's good. But down here, the pipeline was empty. Okay. Let's just try the preview. That's promising. Okay. Run those tests. All right, so I think this is cleaning up. It may change, but I think if we're cleaner at this point, we'll be happier. Now, text output, should that be an observable? I mean, right now it doesn't need to be. But I think if we treat him consistently, we should be happier. And his type is, well, implied, but it's implied to be the full type. Okay. I think we're good. Okay. Text output an observable object. We got rid of all those thread warnings. That's why they were purple. Okay, figure out why content is an empty packet. I think we're answering that yes. Content view. Pipeline. Yeah. Okay. Make pipeline operate from a model. We're kind of going on there. Move action code to the final stage. I think we already did that. I'm not sure it's right. Okay. TextInputSink and where it gets info. Let's take a look at that. Well, it doesn't really transform. Okay, it's really the view. Somebody gives it to it is the answer. Title equals. Well, it's almost. Okay, title here is what it's showing there. So it's digging up the title. From the transformed result. Well, that's probably good. And this is the kind of thing we want to happen. The pipeline runs, does its reduce and its transforms, and the result is a packet. The packet has some information. We set it on those fields. They're shown in this display, so there's no reason we wouldn't know them. All right. I think we're good. It's getting it from the pipeline stages. Make action code to the final stage rather than a Parsons code report. Well, that's what we did that a while back. I guess I missed. I would even say it was back here. I think. Okay, make pipeline operate from a model. I think we're kind of doing that. We don't have the drag and drop full thing, and I think there's stuff to do, but maybe the pipeline itself needs to be a model, and that's not happening yet. I don't quite know. All right, we're due for a break, so let's take about a 3 or 4 minute break, and we'll come back, and I'm not quite sure what's next. It's either pipeline or some UI just to clean up a bit. All right, see you in a few minutes. Welcome back. All right. Let's just take a walk through what we have and see how we're feeling about it. Okay, so content view knows the 4 transforms. Source transforms, sinks are all transforms. It knows the stuff it's going to display. It puts our title, puts our 4 views. This one's really big, isn't it? And the errors. Okay. That seems about right. The thing that, well, the place I want to go is I would like these 4 views to be I would like them to be in a list of views that I display somehow, and run through kind of a for each kind of thing or something like that. I don't know if that's possible, or if it is, if it has some other kind of problem to it, but I think that's a good way to go. I want these to be dynamic, so somebody's got to have a list of views and plug them in here, and then that does its thing. Maybe that would be worth a try. Not much commitment to it. Let's try that. Okay, so var text input view equals this. Okay, he should be a view. Some view? No. No, cannot do that. Okay. Now if I put this in my initializer and a defer clause, I think he's going to want some view. There's no initializer. Is that allowed? Okay. Excuse me. Opaque type must specify any. Wow. I don't even know what that means. Okay. Some view parenthesized. Yeah, I believe that. Okay. Now this text input view equals that. Do I get a purple warning? That's my real question. Yeah. Okay, can I make him a text input view? Okay, promising. All right, so that would be text input view. Okay. T of title, X2, key G. Not working. Okay. I'm going to revert it and defer it. What's your difference? Discard that change. Oh, we didn't check in this change. Okay. Oh, which means I didn't check in my change on the other one either. Content view. Yeah, that's all messed up. Okay, we got rid of pipeline. Get rid of this. Pipeline no longer passes in. And run. Build failed. Okay. Okay, so we get eliminated pipeline from content view. My experiment didn't work. All right, so make pipeline operate from a model. I want to leave that. The other thing I had on my mind was this. We've been around and around trying to do a sort of hamburger bun shape on top and bottom, and then I would probably square off the others. Let's see this. So I'm suggesting we just take a break from pipelining and get a little UI stuff done. I think we have some cleanup in general we could do. All right, let's take a look at this one. Okay. Use corner radius to round the view. I don't. Yeah, you got to implement the extension. Corner radius. Rounded corner. Where that's a new thing with Bezier path. Huh. No, this is all using this new shape, which I kind of don't want to do. I certainly wish they'd included this, but this one was what was interesting to me. Only top rounded corners, rectangle, padding on the bottom as according to the radius, corner radius, and then padding on the bottom to negate it. It's aligned with its content. That looks good. Okay, so let's see what I want to do. I want to look at the content view. No, I want to look at the text input view. All right, and then where did he go? Okay, so they got the frame and foreground color before this modification. Okay, so let's radius. I think we've been using 50. Oh, 40. Cannot find a radius. Okay. Pad. How's this work? It pads the bottom. Oh, so it's adding. It's okay. Interesting. It's adding enough points to the bottom of our rectangle so that we can throw them away after we put the radius on it. Okay. Let's see what that looks like. It looks a lot like it did on the way in. Okay. Let's make it more dramatic and see if that helps any. I guess I could do a preview mode. Oh, so promising. Okay. Foreground color. Like, I don't think color should matter. What did he use for a shape? A rectangle. Rectangle. Foreground color. Okay. Oh, hey. Padding 24. I want to give a little more. Oh, I made this dramatic though, right? So let's try back to 40. Oh yeah. I think I can work with that. Okay, so let's make a struct. And this is a, I don't know, hamburger bun is kind of what I'm thinking of it as, but I'll say top rounded rectangle. Semi-rounded rectangle. Is a view. And it's going to look a lot like this. Okay, and then we'll need a knit. We'll need a color. I think if I do it like this, var color of color. What else do we need? We need a height. Is it int? Height of int, a radius of double. Okay, and this becomes color. I don't know what order makes sense. Height, radius, color. Color, height, radius. Color, height. Okay, now I wanted a knit. Thank you. Is that gonna be a double? CG float. Okay. Kind of weird to mix these two types, but that's the way they do it. Well, is that? Corner radius, it's a CG float too, okay. Okay, that should be working still because we're not calling it. But now if I called semi-rounded rectangle with color is this. The height is 200, radius 40. Why aren't you? Why aren't you updating? I don't know what happened there. When I had two of them, I thought I should see something double. Oh, they overlap each other and they are not visible. Okay. Yeah. All right. But this looks good. Make sure we run it on the real thing. It's good. Oh, yeah. Okay. And I think in our application, this is a source shape. I think that's the real name of this. Hello, welcome. Let's see. We're running this program that's designed to compare tunes. So you feed in ABC notation, which is at its heart, it's just the names of the notes, but it's got more to it. And then we run it through a pipeline to quantize it, generate a report, and then show the report. And I'm just doing some work now. I just want to improve the look of it a bit. I guess I'm kind of putting off some other work I need to do, but that's the way it goes. We had a rectangle that was rounded on all four corners, but I want to make it the top and bottom rounded on that part respectively, and then the rest of them be more like plain rectangles, so it looks more like a sandwich. And so I'm defining this source shape, and I think I'm gonna, well, let's see, that should be working. It wouldn't break any tests, I don't think, because it's UI. We're working in Swift, if you haven't guessed. All right, so we'll commit this. Add a hamburger on shape. Cool. What languages are you looking at? All right, I'm going to extract this to a new file. And put this in a new folder. Have to do a clean, I guess. It's catching up. Could that be inferred? Fix the generic arguments. Gosh, I used C# a while back, and even before that I was using C++. I would not start with C++, and I would think twice about starting with C# even. I have friends who love Python, and it's a bit more straightforward. I think it's there seem to be a lot of books about it and stuff, so in that sense it's probably got stuff going for it. I do enough to dabble, I don't really know enough to do it well. But I guess it depends what you want to do. I also dabbled with Elm, which is kind of a functional language, so I don't know if it's a good place to start. But it's interesting to me anyway. I mean, there's a lot of, I don't know. There's a lot of the web stuff tends to be JavaScript, and I don't know. That's, there's certainly material about it. I don't think of it as a very clean language, but it's got its charms, I guess. Hmm. They'll all teach you something. Swift has got kind of a lot of moving parts. I'm not sure I would say to start there. But, yeah, I don't know. And the thing with C Sharp, I mean, it's a pretty, well, it's used often enough. I don't know if it's more common or less common than it was 5 years ago or not, but there's probably stuff out there. You can get Visual Studio and all those kind of things and give it a try. Yeah, like what kind of app? Are you going to make an Android or iOS? Now this is unexpected to me. I'm getting this error now and I wasn't before. Let's clean again. Just push this out of the way. Downloadable thing. Like, okay, so just like, I don't know what. So like a program running on a desktop, Windows or Mac desktop kind of thing. Wow. Wait, something's going wonky here. Okay. Yeah, I mean you can definitely build those with C Sharp. They've got some stuff in place to do it. I don't know. I suspect I don't know enough about what's going on over in that world. But I mean, you absolutely can start with C Sharp and build apps. If you don't know anything about programming, there's just a lot of stuff to do to get there. But it's I mean, it's a doable thing, and you got to start somewhere, I mean, if you want to, I don't know, like if you just want to run apps at your, at the console on your own computer, just to get started with, that maybe is a touch easier. I mean, you can do some very non-UI kind of stuff, and go at it that way. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you certainly can do that. I mean, that's what I'm doing here. Is I'm running a Mac desktop app using Swift, and I'm using Swift UI as their UI package, and doing okay with it. But yeah, I mean, take a gander at C Sharp, see how it goes. C++, the problem I have is it's got so much going on, and it's so easy to mess up some stuff. I mean, I think it's better than it was, but it's just a huge language as languages go. And so, I don't know. I just, I worked on a project years ago where the group was learning C++ for the first time, and they didn't realize you had to manage your memory. So you have to make sure that every bit of memory that you create somewhere, that somebody that's responsible for owning it. And, they just let it go. And so as soon as they ran it on real data, it just blew up because nobody had saved their memory anywhere or, kept track of it or anything. C# does that stuff automatically, so at least that's something. Gosh, I don't know. I mean, yeah, I guess it just depends what you're going to do. If you're going to do an app, another way to go is there's all these no-code app things. If you just, it's like if getting the app is what matters, maybe that's one thing. If you're trying to learn to program, that's different. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. If you're building a Windows app, I guess you could do worse than that. You might, I don't know, I see Unity mentioned. I think that's more of a UI thing, right? I mean, game stuff. Yeah. That blends in with it. Oh, that was Mac OS. There's another one. I mean, which language? I don't know. We'll get some if I could spell. Yeah. I mean, there's plenty of opinions out there. They all offer something. I would look for something with an easy start. I mean, this Object Pascal, that's like, no. Yeah. I would pick Kotlin before I pick Java, but it doesn't sound like you're doing either one of those. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you just have to start something, you can start it and see what you get and decide. Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. I don't know if they use that for games over on the Windows side at all, or if it's really fully cross-platform for that, or just was for the Mac stuff. I don't know. Haven't been doing much games in the last X years. So when I was, it was a lot different environment. But yeah, I mean, it's somewhere to start. Find some. There's plenty of tutorials and stuff like that out there, so that's worth looking at. Okay, this cannot be right. I'm obviously better at not talking while I program, aren't I? Okay, so I'm looking for text input view. And then down here, source shape. Okay, this should build. And it should run. Okay, now if I say source shape 2, that should get this one, and it should be just as good. Text input view. Build, and I think it's going to have this error. No? Okay, let's run it. Okay, cool. Take care. Good luck. All right, that is working. So let's take this out. And we'll take this out. And this out. And then we'll do a clean and a run. Okay. Now, that's text input view. I would like text output view. Well, let's add this. Let's say type alias sync shape is source shape. And text output view. This should be a sink shape with all this stuff. The color is this. The height is, well, I've forgotten. Oh, he wasn't mentioned before. His radius is 40. Okay. Color this. Height, I'm gonna think it was 200. Radius 40.0, and that's extra. Nope, that goes here. Okay. Well, let's see what this said before. Oh, foreground color. This is the color. Okay, there's no foreground color in there. Color, just closing this. Okay. Okay, he's wrong. Let's see. I think the height was... Did we make it 400 for this one? Yeah. All right. And then sink shape. We'll add him here for now. View, which means he has to have a body. View. And he has to return something. But we need to get this stuff. And we're going to return a source shape reversed, flipped. Can I flip? No. Dot. Okay. There's a transform. Oh, rotate. Yeah. Scale effect. Yeah, this is probably... This will work. And we rotate by plus 180, it should be the same as minus 180. Okay, cannot find source shape in scope. Why not? Text input view, but text output view to be sink shape. Oh, there it is. Yeah, rounded corners. Okay. Now, Let's take Quantizer. Well, let's take what we got. Make sure this runs. Run it directly. Oh yeah, coming along. Okay. Commit this. All right, and then we have two more. Well, we have one more shape, and that's a transform shape. And he's got a body of some view. And I think we just need a rectangle. We'll have to do something to it. We need a parser view. His rectangle, he's got a color. Well, maybe I don't need to specify that. Let's just say transform shape. And he needs a color. So, kind of like this one, he'll need this. And this. Not that stuff. And actually, I'm thinking the radius maybe should go away too. Tell me the color. Tell me the height of those for some reason. I don't know if they should have to say the height. But, okay. I'm kind of defining it somewhere else. All right. Color. Okay. And that's just a foreground color. Yep. All right. Preview this. And let's take a look. I think that's going to look a little better. Transform shape. Okay. Top line. Here we set the height. I don't know if we need to do that. Well, let's check this in. Okay. Okay, and then the last one to need it is the quantizer view. And we want this to be a transform shape with color being this. And we'll let the frame be on the outside if they want to. This is the kind of stuff I only check visually. Okay. I'm going to take this off and see what happens. Too big. That's okay looking. I think that's a good vertical size. Okay, so use transform shape for quantizer. All right, and I think I want to split these out. Source shape, transform shape. And sink shape. Oh, he probably needs an import. Whoops. Forgot to do my pasting. And sink shape. Just save myself the grief of clean first, then run. Okay, I'm happy. This is what I really wanted. Okay. And I might squeak it up a little vertically if I can fit it in. Okay. So we split each shape to its own file. Now let's just take a look at one of these views. Okay, observed object, you got to capture it. Transform top line. And good. Okay, that's not bad. Okay, so he needs to know source and all that stuff. Good. Let's just make sure that button works. Not sure I saw it in that. Okay. We have an outstanding bug, which I don't know if I wrote down. Report bug, clicking on checkbox. It may be something I'm doing wrong, but we'll investigate it at some point. Okay. This was really UI. And we made we made source and sink use hamburger bun shapes. Okay, and then I think, let's see if we can get this height. What if I take this out? Looks okay. All right, so I think I should be able to take source shape doesn't need a height. And I'm just going to hard code this. I think we can simplify. Color we do need. Okay, source shape. Sink shape no longer needs this or this. And then there should be 4 places complaining about it. Source shape color, no height. Why isn't anybody else complaining? There we go. Sync doesn't need them. We're going to do this one at a time, are we? Okay. Yeah. I'm getting there. Okay. Remove extraneous height from shapes and use default radius. Okay, so make source use trainer. Yeah, I think that's all okay. This stuff. Where is it? I'll just put a note. We used extra padding, then clipped. And that was in did we do this? No. Which article was it? I think it was this one. No, it was where we just were, wasn't it? Padding. I don't know if I'm going to have to go back and find this at some point. But it makes sense to me physically what's going on, so I think that's good. And we'll just look at it one more time. So you take a rectangle, you give it the radius worth of padding on the bottom, then you give the whole thing the radius on the corners, and now the bottom part that's got the corner radiuses should be the height of the radius, and so we subtract it off on the padding and inset. And notice we don't have extra junk. The blue box shows it doesn't have like an empty zone on the bottom or anything like that, which some of the other approaches we had did take or did find. Okay, but that does make sense. All right, so I'm going to delete all of this. Yay. Okay. Oh. Make pipeline operate from a model. Oh, boy. The problem I have, okay, so it's kind of it's an initialization problem. Each of these has to know its real type because the corresponding view must know I'm getting a QuantizerTransform because I'm going to put a rhythm selector to do it. Once I've put them in a pipeline, I have to put them in a single array. They have to be of the same type. And I mean, unless I'm going to do any into casting and all that junk, which I really would rather not. So that sort of says I have to take their common type. Well, their only common type is, well, they have a common type that's transform, which is what I want my pipeline to care about. And they have another common type is ObservableObject, which doesn't tell us enough to be useful. All right, so I can't just stick them in a pipeline like that unless it's a pipeline of transforms, but then I can't just go to the object and get it. And furthermore, if I have a timing thing. If I put it in the constructor with a defer, it complains. I can't do it in here because it won't let me use objects that were created above. It just doesn't. So unfortunately, which is really kind of a flaw, and it sort of makes like semantic sense to do it, but okay. So I don't know how to create a pipeline that corresponds to the types so that I get the views right. Now, our experiment with a view was not very promising, I have to say. So I don't know, maybe I can defer this for a while. The other thing we've got is, let's see, well, we wanted this notion of a pipeline drag and drop. Okay, so my idea there is on the left there'd be tools of various sorts, maybe in a grid. And then you'd, on the right-hand side, you'd have that stack. Okay, I'll call it the sandwich pipeline. And I would love to be able to go over here and take this and go, oh, drop it in my pipeline and have it go to the right place, and or take a piece here and maybe, I don't know what I did just now, and maybe drag it back out of the way. It's probably not the most important thing. Okay. What I probably should do is focus on getting my customers something else to do with their stuff, or cleaning up what it does in some weird cases. The other analysis, let's see if I can get it on camera. Okay. The idea is the vertical columns are the first note, the second note, the third note, and so on. And then within there, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Which step of the scale was this note starting on? So you'll see a lot of songs start on the first note of the scale, and I can't read the counts, but you know, this is maybe 87, and this is 3, 24, and 17, and 32, and 8. You know, the first note of the scale is a very common starting point and a very common ending point. Over on the ending point, I think it's 101, and then the rest of them are like 1, 3, 5. I can't read, but there's not very much variation. So this report gives you the sort of mode estimate of the tune. For each note position, plot the number of notes, and then compute the most likely tune. Okay. Another major tool I've been considering is called a sound probe. I don't know the right phrase for it, but play a tune. Okay. And the idea with this would be, I don't know, there could be a little speaker icon on here that lets me select a tune. Or I don't know what, maybe it's another stage, but somehow I want to be able to go in and say, what does this tune sound like? You know, and go down to the next one and say, what does it sound like? Are they the same? Okay. And then we also had clustering. We calculate these melody shapes, but then we don't have a very good way of deciding which ones are similar or not. Visually, we can kind of do it, but I'd like to have the computer take a go at it. And then this analyze metadata is, we have some metadata. We don't do much with it, but we get the reference number and the title. We could take the titles and say, what are the various titles? Oh, this is called No Scalin 22 times, No Scalin 7 times, Ride the Boat Over Dairy 3 times, and whatever. And that would be interesting to me. There's also some hierarchical stuff. I don't know if our No Scalin has any of that. Open No Scalin. Okay. So these tunes, okay, they got the source. It's got the title. That's okay, kind of a translation. Notes, boring. Well, you can put multiple titles if you have them. I don't see any here. Yeah, haven't seen any yet. Okay. So this one may not be a great example, but we can fetch out these titles and see them. There's this origin. Let's see, where would we find that example? Origin. And this is kind of hierarchical. Okay, so origin is Canada, Nova Scotia, Halifax. Well, it's kind of like, you know, sending your mail, like the the bottom line on your mail is the country, and then the well, I don't know what they call them, provinces and whatever. You know, I don't know if this is cities and zones or whatever. We would use states, you know, country, state, and city in our place, and maybe a neighborhood or something. But I could say, oh, 87 tunes are Canada and 22 are England, and of the Canada, you know, 10 Nova Scotias and 7 Torontos. Okay. Okay. It would be interesting from that sense to know what those things' origins are. Now, I did a project, I don't know, probably when I first started doing Twitch rather, and it was, I called it sort tables, and it was to like let you put a vertical bar you could drag to say make a hierarchy out of the stuff on the left, and that kind of thing would be interesting for this. You could drag the titles and sort by them and all that. Yeah, I don't want to waste half an hour thinking about what to do. All right. The other thing, maybe I kind of want to start this on a fresh day. Maybe I'll do a little research tonight. I don't know. I got some stuff going on, so probably not. Maybe let's just see what's involved in this. We have this bug. We can reproduce it, I think, consistently. It's on the quantizer view. All right, let's get this. I don't know if there's a way to turn the view on. What's this do? Device settings. Nope. Nope. Live? Selectable. I think I want live. Okay. Well, I think we could take this transform shape. Oh, transform shape. Okay. Yeah, that thing's there. This has quantized toggle H stack. Okay, we're going to do some inlining and see. All right, so this toggle is nothing special. All right, how do we investigate? Well, I think what I want to do is I want to get a copy of this. So quantizing something view. I don't have a duplicate, but let's just make a bug demo view. Okay, and we're going to take everything from here. Put it in here. We don't need this. And down here, the preview. All right, now this should be able to display canvas. Okay, and I want to get this thing in my main content view. I think I can just add it enough to see the problem. Okay, run this. Is the X the same? There it is. Okay. So I got to click above the button. All right. Now let's do this. Okay. Question 1. Does the shape matter? If I take this out and take a look, the background is that. Still click up here and don't click down here. Okay, so that's easy. I don't need a foreground color. Let's just take a look. Okay, next one, I'm going to try and take out this. Huh. Okay, that no longer reproduces. Okay. Let's just keep this one there. Well, it doesn't seem to be the length of anything. Okay, so now do I need these? That doesn't work, that doesn't work, that doesn't work, that doesn't work. Oh, above. Okay. I don't know. Okay, but that can go. That's the good news. Okay. I don't think I need this. Let's do one at a time. Okay. Let's take this one out. Let's see if the Z... Okay, let's make sure that still fails. I just deleted a comment, so it shouldn't matter. All right. Is that up here? There it is. Okay. I'm going to take the Z stack out. Okay, it's not that Z stack. Now I'm going to take this out and see if it's my object that's contributing. Oh. Oh, good. It's not me. Okay. Now let's do this. Okay. Okay, let's do let's just add a state. Should quantize is false. Okay. We still got the source and all that stuff. Yes. Okay. Does this have to be a text field? No, it does not. Oh boy. Let's move the frame out of the text field. Out of the stack. Did I lose something? No, this should be working, right? I don't know what he's... Oh, have I got the wrong object? Yes, I do. I was wondering how come it was still colored. Okay. Okay, we're not referencing source anymore. Okay. guess what I want to do. Did we set up a playground? I can't remember. Yes. Okay, I'm going to take this stuff out. Didn't really get anywhere anyway. And I'm going to put our bug demo view in. I don't know what content view is not complaining. Yeah, there we go. Okay, if I run this, I should get a view somewhere. Okay, that's more like it. Ah. Oh, you're killing me. Do I need a universe where content view is nothing but that? So that has no problem. Oh, in our context, it does. Okay, where's content view? In a scroll view. Not enough. forget what I paste. Okay. Okay, and he was in there with VStack of what's content view? Text. And then a bunch of views and a spacer. Text, a bunch of views, and a spacer. Let's put another text in here. Okay, let's a couple minutes left. Let's take out these other views momentarily. At least the ones in front of it. Okay. And the ones back of it. Oh. Okay. And let's cut that down a little. Oh, who is it? Who is it? Who is it? It's going to be the ugly one, right? Oh. Okay, that gives us something to go on. Somehow the Parsons code report after it is causing a problem. Let's take out this one. Sorry, the problem's gone. When that one's gone, and there when it's there. What about the errors? Okay, and the spacer. All right, we'll stop. Good news. Okay, something about these two together is screwing it up. Okay, we'll pick up there next time. So I guess what we're looking is report bug, clicking on checkbox. Yeah. I think, get some greater social good out of this. See if we can figure out what's going on with that mistake. And if it's an Apple bug, let them know. All right, well, next time is tomorrow, Tuesday. It's 1 to 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time, Standard Time, or 6 to 8:30 p.m. UTC. Thanks for joining today, and I hope to catch you in the future. Take care. Bye-bye.